You're on the road beyond. I'm Todd Duplantis. Good to have you with us. Thanks for joining us, those of you out there on Facebook and YouTube. We appreciate you being out here tonight. We've got a great show lined up for you. We're talking about the ghosts of Galveston Island tonight. And I've got a very special guest. Brian Treybig is one of the managers and also one of the tour guides for a tour in Galveston Island. Brian, welcome to the show. Let's see if we can get you to unmute your mic. I think your mic's still muted. There we go.
Hi, how you doing?
Good to see you. Thanks for being on the show. Good to have you with us. We're looking forward to hearing all about Galveston and everything going on out there. But first, Brian, having you on the show, we want to talk a little bit of news that's been going on in the paranormal world. I know you're very familiar with Bigfoot, and Bigfoot has been making some appearances over the past few weeks, with at least two of those appearances caught on video, and we've got them for you. All right, take a look at this. Now, this first incident took place in June of 2021, but the pictures are just surfacing right now. In fact, Lon Strickler's phantomsandmonsters.com website published the story first. Brian, are you familiar with Lon Strickler?
Lon Strickler, no, sir.
Okay, so he is a cryptozoologist expert and talks a lot about crypto and animals as well. And this video particularly comes to us from Saskatchewan, where a road construction worker was grading some property in a forest, and he came upon a dark figure lurking nearby. So what do you do when you're in a forest by yourself, Brian, and you come across a figure?
Well, you say hi.
Yeah, say hi, grab your camera, do something, but document the damn thing. Well, the worker says in his testimony that he's working in a heavily forested area near Manitoba when something he calls black as night was lurking above a game trail. He said he grabbed his phone and took the following picture. There you go. Barely can see it. As you can see, it's a dark image in the picture, not very clear. Regardless, the worker says from its size, he's thinking it's a juvenile Bigfoot. So whenever you think of Bigfoot, this is Bigfoot's kid that we're seeing right now. I don't know, Brian, but I don't know about you, but I don't know if I could tell the difference between a Bigfoot and Bigfoot's kid.
I don't know. It'd be Littlefoot.
Littlefoot, yeah, it's all going to be the same to me. But anyway, the next video we're going to show you, this is pretty cool, but it's very, very clear. This one is almost too good to be true. It comes to us from Silver Point, Tennessee, which is just east of Nashville. Now, the video went viral and made it to Coast AM's website, and many are saying this is just a Halloween prank due to the time of year that it was released. But take a look at the length of the creature's arms. This is pretty cool. Some people are saying this could be the real deal. Now, not much is known about the story behind the video. As you know, these videos get posted. Not a lot of information get out there about them, but it's reported that an unidentified man found the creature on his property. So why not? He started recording it. He was so shaken by the event that he went to go find his young daughter, who I guess was like wandering about, led her back home to safety. He says he then went back to look for the creature, which is your first mistake. If you find a Bigfoot, I don't think you're going to get a chance to take a picture, go away, go home, come back and find the Bigfoot again. That's just me, but that's the way I'm thinking this goes down. I don't know about you, Brian. What do you think?
No, I just hope they use, the old 8mm cameras, because that's how they always catch them. That's
always catching. They're always shaky video. Every one of us on this damn planet has a cell phone with video, and nobody can get a good picture of a Bigfoot. I don't know what's going on here. Anyway, this guy claims he went back to look for Bigfoot. It was gone, of course. In the next month or so, we're going to have a cryptozoologist on the show who can break down these videos and tell us what it's all about. But Brian, this next story is based on historical fact. Now, check this out. This is pretty cool. Archaeologists are now saying they may have discovered a tunnel which may lead them to the lost tomb of Queen Cleopatra. That's right. The tunnel has been located near the Temple of Taposiris near Alexandria. The tunnel, found by a team from the University of Santo Domingo, discovered it. It's carved into rock, and it's roughly 1,300 meters long. They're saying this is like an archaeologist's dream. It was a major feat to carve a tunnel like this. The excavation team also discovered alabaster heads, a statue of a sphinx, and other headless statues. They also found several mummies inside the tunnel. So why do they think it's Queen Cleopatra's tunnel? Because they found some coins in there. So if you're going to memorialize someone that was famous, leave a few coins in the tunnel. That'll help you thousands of years later. That's what we have there. So there you go. I don't know, Brian, what do you think? You think they actually found Queen Cleopatra's tunnel?
You know, to think they were actually digging for crypto, they actually got it.
They were digging for crypto. They came up with some coins and Queen Cleopatra. So why not? Not a bad discovery. The whole shebang.
Nice.
It is pretty cool. But Brian, you're tonight's guest, and we want to mention Galveston Island has been a destination for tourists and vacationers for decades. It's also been the destination for spirits and legends. Over the past few centuries, the port city has been home to Native Americans, pirates, soldiers, Texas colonists, and settlers from several countries and many others. It's also been the location of many bloody battles and the devastating 1900 hurricane, which killed thousands across the island. Now, Brian Treybig, our guest tonight, is a tour guide and manager of Dash Beardley's Ghost Tours of Galveston. Brian, once again, welcome to the show. I have known Dash for a few years, I shall say. I remember him very well. I had the chance to work with him on our first incarnation of the show, and I think we're going to show some video of that. For those who may not be familiar with Dash, tell our audience a bit about him.
Dash Beardsley, the ghost man of Galveston. You know, everybody knows him. He walks into a room, boom, everybody says that's the ghost man. He walked down the Strand, and people just know who it is. And this guy has been part of the spiritual world for a long, long time. Had crossroads with death and kidnapping that could lead to his death and things like that. And he's been very lucky and fortunate and blessed. And so he's been involved with the spirits and the ghosts a lot. And connected to Galveston,
right?
And he would go to different shops and just talk to people and say, "Hey, do you have a ghost story for me? I'm just very curious." And everybody had a ghost story, and he was just fascinated by it.
You know, the video people are seeing right now from the TV show we shot, The Road Beyond Television pilot, it was shot at the old trolley station on the Strand, which I'm sure you're very familiar with. I know at one time the location has always been several businesses, but it included a restaurant. And over 100 years ago, it was a location of an infirmary during the Civil War. Do you know more about this particular location as well?
Yes, that entire block is one of the most haunted places right there on the Strand. Not only does it include that trolley station, the old trolley station, but across the street was the Civil War headquarters, and battles took place right there. And then right next to the trolley station is the Nichols building, which was also an infirmary and hospital and morgue. But yes, it's very, very haunted to this day. Many stories. We have 2 tours on the Strand, and there are so many stories. We stopped there for both tours with totally different stories. But
when Dash was in the TV show, there was the episode itself. There was, and we have this. You can watch it all on YouTube. It's on my YouTube channel. But in the episode, we had groups that were stationed all throughout the building. Dash was with one camera, I was with one camera, and we had another group with one camera. So we had 3 cameras following people simultaneously throughout the building. And we had walkie-talkies we were using. On our walkie-talkies, we actually heard a young girl, make a noise, a scream. And when that happened, all of us were baffled as it was going on. But Dash's camera was actually connecting him, or it was video recording him talking with a spirit of the young girl when the scream was happening. So, I mean, he had this connection. It was really bizarre the way it happened. And when we all gathered after the incident happened, he's like, oh, yeah, I was upstairs and I helped lead her outside of this building to get her, to release her into the spirit world. So obviously he's got some type of connection with the spirit world.
And it can be exhausting. That is my part when I go down there and I tell their stories. I tell their stories, and I have to say, okay, now's the time, and then turn it on, and then just take a little bit and then close it off, because it is exhausting. I mean, but I get a lot of information and I try to do what I can to help them. But yeah, that little girl in that building, oh my gosh, even, I mean, she's still there, unfortunately. Wow. I mean, maybe she doesn't want to leave. We do have pictures of her, and I've had 2 psychics on my tour at separate times tell me I have a little girl following me around. And,
that's amazing.
Actually followed me home too. That was a crazy story. But yeah, that little girl is still around. But it's a good thing. I mean, there's a lot of dark history as well. On that strand. I mean, a lot of I guess I would say child trafficking in a sense. It wasn't nice. A lot of children went missing, and she could possibly be one of those children.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking about history over the last, several hundred years along that strand, and that strand's been very populated for many years. And back in the Civil War times, I mentioned there was an infirmary in that building, which we learned after we did the show. But from what the psychics were telling me, including Dash, there were a number of spirits from that infirmary that are still lingering around there as well. I guess when you have death and destruction like that from the Civil War, the spirits still remain.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Those soldiers aren't going anywhere. I don't know if it was a horrific death or they just want to stick around and see what's happening now. But,
speaking about ghosts, let's talk about ghosts themselves, Brian, because you and I have talked about this before, but how do ghosts present themselves? Because you mentioned a number of ways that they could manifest or how they come about to presenting themselves.
Yeah, we believe there are 5 stages of energy that these spirits take on, and that's when they know that they're dead. That's the type of ghost. Mostly the first instance is a cold spot. You could feel it. You can't see it, but you definitely feel it. Walk into any haunted place and you just know, like a blanket of energy. The second stage of energy is an orb, the simplest visual that you can see, or ball of light. And it's been caught on camera and even with the naked eye. But sometimes when you're taking evidence, it could be a water droplet or a bug flying by. You got to make your own decisions on that. But some people have seen faces and orbs, and they come in different colors as well. The third stage of energy is we talk about the vortex. This is where, we're just looking at evolution here from the orb. It just vortexes out, spirals out, and trying to create an image of themselves. And then they gain this potential, by the way, by taking energy from electricity, from us, from all over even water, and we'll talk about that. But they take this energy and then they expand. The next stage of energy is what we call ectoplasmic mist. And this is where it starts to branch out. And you almost see apparition. Oh, not quite, but they start to branch out. And sometimes you'll get some smoke like the photo you're seeing now. And then the last stage is an apparition. It's a total ghost. You could see the person, but you could see through them. Now there is a 6th stage of energy, but there's no point in talking about it because they look just like one of us. I've heard of people having long conversations with a person, then all of a sudden they just disappear. They had no idea they were a ghost. It's amazing. Wow.
Yeah, it is amazing. I think I mentioned when we discussed this before that I'm a recent widower, and my wife died earlier this year. And I went through life for so many years, getting into the show thinking, oh wow, I'd love to see a ghost, but I've seen one now. Since she's passed. She's presented herself to me in full apparition, where it does look like, a real person. But she's also presented herself to me in an orb and then in a form of mist. And then the only time I've been able to communicate with her has been in a dream. And it was very vivid, but to where she actually told me that I could ask her questions, and I was able to do that, and communicate with her.
Oh my goodness.
That was very magical when that happened. But, until this happens to you, until you see this, I don't think people can really comprehend what this is all about, because folks, I'm telling you, this is real. This really happens if you're open to it. And I guess people on your tour have to be open to receive this as well. Wouldn't you think, Brian?
Absolutely. And when you get a group of people, from 2 to 100 people on a tour, there's going to be a lot of different types of energy. Some are really into it, some who just want the history, some who just want the ghost stories, and some who are just there because their wife drugged them over there. And so they just, is there a stop for a beer kind of people, which is fine. They're all good. I read the room and I entertain them. I tell them and educate them. But they still have a great time no matter who you are. If you want to ask for it, they will show themselves. And I always tell them to take pictures. And not only do we have the ghost tours, we do ghost hunts every once in a while, and we encourage to bring paranormal investigation tools and things, anything you need, because they'll catch it. You'll see stuff.
Now, your tour is one of the top-rated ghost tours in the country. We also discussed the fact that, do you think Galveston is so haunted because it's near a body of water? We've had experts on the show before that have talked about spirits maybe reflecting off the water, or it being an area that will draw more people or more spirits. What is your thoughts towards that and why Galveston is so haunted?
Well, first of all, like I was talking before, that water is a natural element. It's a very simplistic thing, and I believe that the spirits is drawn to that energy. And like I was saying before, it could be like what you remember being in a safe house, like in your mother's womb. It's just warm and it's just the water. It's just wonderful. I think they're drawn by that way. But that island is super haunted for many, many reasons. Not only the spirits drawn to the water, but also the death that the island has seen. Lots of death, like you said. The Native Americans, the Quanquas, were there, and they were known to be cannibals and things like that. But they were very cool. They only ate of they never ate of their own. So, if you were part of the Quanquas, they wouldn't eat you. You're good. But then you had pirates. The famous pirate Jean Lafitte was around there. Yeah. And also, of course, the Civil War battles took place everywhere. And diseases. It was like Ellis Island. A lot of immigrants came to Galveston to start their lives and their businesses. And so a lot of diseases happened, tuberculosis, yellow fever, a lot of death there. There's in the cemetery, in the old city cemetery, there's one cemetery dedicated just to the yellow fever people. That's very unfortunate.
And then the hurricane of 1900, that really, it reshaped Galveston Island. It caused them to build the seawall, and it was monumental because really all the lives that were lost and so many people swept away during the middle of the night when this hurricane came through. I would imagine that alone, you have a lot of spirits lingering from that.
Absolutely. That alone You would think that's it. You know, that storm, the greatest storm that ever hit the United States here, is not a movie yet. What's going on? It's that important. It was that big of a deal. Yeah, over 6,000 people, up to 8,000 people died on the island. Boom, right there, you know, and it was horrific. I mean, you take a picture of one devastated house on that island, and you might as well take a picture. Might as well not take a picture of anything else, because that's what the island looked like. It was just horrific. A lot of the historical buildings withstood the test of time, are still here, which is amazing. But you had over 6,000 people on that island dead. And then when the waters came down, what do you do with them? Well, they decided to put them on barges and sent them out.
Yeah.
Out
that ended horribly too.
Yeah. And 3 days later, these bodies started washing up on the beaches.
Wow.
I mean, and so what do you do with them? Well, you can't, they decided to burn them. Well, you can't burn them now. They're waterlogged. So they went down the strand and went to every shop and said, oh, wait, this could be a cold storage building. This is now a morgue. We're taking over. That's what the authorities did. And so they put all the bodies inside every building on the strand and prepare them for funeral fires. Piles of bodies burning everywhere on this island. We have the old city cemetery, yes. But people don't realize when you're walking down the street, you're walking on people's graves. The entire island is a graveyard.
You also have a story about a schoolmarm from the hurricane, and I think we have a picture from that as well.
Oh, man. I love this story. It's one of my favorite stories. A very wonderful woman. She was living and working right there at the Hutchings Sealy building on the Strand. There's a Italian restaurant there now. But during the Great Storm, a 17-foot storm surge swept over the island. That's why the seawall is 17 feet high. But during the storm, she's on the second floor of this building, this schoolmarm. And when lightning struck, she could see people floating in the water during the hurricane, right?
Wow.
All right there at the second floor level. And she could not just do nothing. She had to do something. So she opened up the window. During this hurricane, she's grabbing people, trying to see, and she's grabbing people. And she looked at you. If you were alive, she said, go over there. I need you to rest up and help me grab these bodies. And if you were dead, they put you in a pile on the second floor. And as the waters receded, she went down the stairs and grabbed people and bodies and took them to the second floor. And then 3 months later, she died in that building due to illness touching those bodies. And ever since then, people have seen this woman roaming the second floor and also on the stairs. In the early 2000s, 5 women were walking past the window there, and they each saw what looked like a woman sitting on the stairs, clenching her fist with her head down as if she was crying. And it's amazing when a person sees a ghost and tells you about it, but it's awesome when 5 people see the same thing.
Wow.
And tell the story. But no, it's a wonderful, wonderful story. And yes, we do have that photo and many other photos. It's just wonderful.
And your guests on the tour, they do catch some photos as well. They experience some paranormal activity, don't they?
Oh, gosh, yes. Absolutely. Like I said, we encourage taking photos, and we've been doing it since 1998, so we have a lot of evidence. It's amazing. And just the other month ago, I was talking to Mike Ketching over there at Mr. Cats, and I asked him, so you got anything happening? He goes, oh, sure, just pliers flying off the wall. I said, what? Really? And he goes, yeah, you want to see it? I was like, what are you talking about? He caught video of it. So it was overnight. So it was 8 hours of footage. And he took me back there. Sorry, my dog is freaking out here.
He's having a good time back there. I notice him.
But anyway, he showed me there was a pegboard that had all these tools there. And there were some pliers there. And he showed me, had fast forwarded in the video, all these tools didn't move except for this one pair of pliers, just slowly every 30 seconds or 30 minutes, every other hour, moving, and then finally, boop, right onto the bench.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, and logically, as a scientist, because I'm Mulder and Scully in one, but as a scientist, I'm like, okay, vibrations, something like that. No, these pliers were stuck in the hole and lifted itself out and fell.
Yeah, well, I'm usually Mulder on the show. My co-host is usually Scully, so that's kind of the way things works on this show. But
nice.
Today it's just me, so I'm not really a skeptic. I'm more open to these things. Brian, we appreciate you joining us on the show. Where can people find you in social media and on the web?
Oh, just do this, and they'll find us.
There you go, and you'll find them.
You'll go to ghosttoursofgalveston.com. It's Dash Beardsley's ghosttoursofgalveston.com. You can find us there. We have multiple tours. We're running strong. It's going to be great.
Well, Brian, I appreciate you joining me on the show tonight. We'll have all of your information in our social media post after the show. Take care of yourself, and let's get you back on here again soon.
Todd, thank you, sir. Y'all have a great night.
All right. Thanks, Brian.
Appreciate it.
All right. And before we go, I wanted to show you some incredible images that were captured by the James Webb Space Telescope. Now, we've all seen images over the years captured by the Hubble Space Telescope, but this new telescope records infrared wavelengths rather than visible light, allowing it to see farther and much more clearly. Take a look at these two images. One of the most famous images captured by Hubble is a formation called the Pillars of Creation. There's the one Hubble captured. This image was taken in 1995. It's an incredible view at what astrologers are calling a cosmic nursery of some 6,500 light years away. Now that's an incredible view, but take a look at something from the James Webb Telescope. Amazing, isn't it? The new image allows scientists to see concentrations of gas and dust. So pretty cool stuff there. And I'm sure we'll be seeing a lot more images from the James Webb Telescope. But my question is, if this telescope can see everything, can it get me a good picture of a UFO? Please, let's see about doing that. Get on that stack. Okay, folks, we're about to wrap up today's show, but find us on Facebook and Twitter as the Road Beyond Podcast. We also have a Road Beyond Podcast fans Facebook group. Follow us on TikTok and look for us on YouTube as the Road Beyond Podcast. Subscribe to our channel. I'm Todd Duplantis. Thanks for being with us on the show tonight. We'll see you again next week on the Road Beyond Podcast.